Reddit users, what's something that changed or disappeared because of COVID that still hasn't returned? I still have a vivid memory of driving to work in early January 2020. It's a radio commercial for a type of ice cream, and I thought to myself my wife would really like it. That memory feels like it was a few months ago. I don't have tons of memories of my day-to-day from March 2020 or really any of 2022 to 22. It really is like a time skip. If this were an anime, I'd have new powers by now. Instead, I just got fat. We are experiencing higher than normal call volume. The wait time at your local emergency department is 4 hours 53 minutes. Are you sure you need to be here? I don't know what happened. I was literally going to a music festival once every 2 to 3 months, multiple music shows, hanging out with friends and going out camping, partying, etc. Now, me and my wife just kind of sit at home and maybe go out to a park or do some hiking and every once in a while go out to a board game night. We went to a couple music shows and I just felt like, what am I doing here? I'd rather be on the couch. But then when I am home, I feel guilty, like I should be out enjoying life, but have no motivation or I guess pull to do anything. Frankly, it's been miserable. House prices seem like they'll be forever unattainable now. Direct delivery from restaurants. Everything is now being funneled through DoorDash, Uber Eats, etc. I just want to call the Chinese place and order delivery at a normal price, like the old days. Me giving a shit about my career. There was a wonderful hobby shop in the town I live in. Sold RC vehicles, high-quality model kits, supplies, model train stuff, hosted MTG tournaments, Warhammer, etc. Really nice place. It was run by the nicest guy and some of his friends. It's gone now. Makes me really sad. I bought all my hobby stuff from him. Now I have to either drive 2 hours if I want to buy from a locally owned store, or I need to buy from online. I'm a public high school teacher, and students' attention spans are still very short relative to before. 24-hour stores and restaurants. There are probably way less than half as there used to be. I didn't realize they hadn't returned until I spent hours driving around looking for medicine for my son at 1 a.m. I miss being able to go to Walmart at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep and was craving something I didn't have in the fridge. I quit customer service during COVID, about 5 months in at a 5-year job. People became not only cruel, but mentally unstable. We were being blamed despite getting our faces breathed and coughed in when there wasn't an understanding of the virus yet. People would bully us because of the pandemic and because they were mad about their lives. The company did not allow us to wear gloves or masks because it was unprofessional. Absolute hell. I am emotionally scarred from the years in customer service and the pandemic. I think of people who ripped off the COVID relief funds, and when I hear of people who went through real problems, makes me rage. My wife's business was on life support for almost a year. Those funds plus the generosity of her office landlord who gave her a temporary discount on rent were the only things that kept it afloat. We lost our business of 21 years. I'm still not okay about it. I dream of being able to afford a shitty apartment like my parents dreamed of owning a home. My already insane rent in North Phoenix went from $1,800 to $2,250. Same place would have been like $1,000 when I first moved here. Guess who lives with their uncle now? And honestly, I'm one of the insanely lucky ones. He's getting dangerously old and his wife recently passed. At least I can help him out and give him some companionship in his final years instead of having to move into a place with bars on the windows. Here they laid off air traffic controllers because no one was flying. Now they can't hire people back fast enough, causing major issues for airlines and travelers. Until now they've just overloaded the remaining controllers, but now the union have said enough, leaving Copenhagen Airport with cancellations and major delays. But that's what you get for short-term thinking. People's mental health. Before COVID, I knew I was introverted, but being alone without the obligation of going out, because people weren't making plans anymore, so I didn't have to agree to anything, really reinforced how much I enjoy being alone. It's gotten bad. Interacting with people for long periods of time is exhausting. I actually have to take a day to myself after, or I get depressed and irritable. Tip function on every debit machine, like McDonald's or Booster Juice. Would you like to round up to prevent child hunger? No, I'd like the multi-billion-dollar company known for making mass-produced cheeseburgers to provide some support. I paid a $15 cover charge to get into a bar tonight, and they had the gall to ask for a tip. On a cover charge. They asked for gratuity on the service of charging me to enter the establishment. Still fucking gobsmacked. I just went to the bowling alley today for the first time in like 6 years. I pay for my lane and the card machine has a tip line. WTF? I did not tip. I went to a little hole-in-the-wall curiosity shop a few months ago and their POS system had a tip line. The cashier told me just ignore the tip thing. It's built into the system and we can't disable it. The dollar store. Now it's the $1.25 store. I feel like the majority of the population not driving during lockdown completely forgot how to drive during that time and have still not managed to remember the basics yet. My daily commute is infuriating. Paperwork, everything is PDF and e-sign now. I don't even see the people I used to get signatures from. Physical menus at restaurants. I'm sorry, scanning a QR code and then using my phone's display to browse a menu is absolutely the worst user experience for doing that. The screen is just too damn small to quickly peruse a large selection of items across numerous categories. A lot of my joy for life. I'm not joyless, but a large part of my life was being part of a vibrant, very diverse, and inclusive music scene in my small town. COVID shut that down, and since things have come back, the venues have changed hands and the music scene has closed off greatly. Far less inclusive, very cliquish. It's very saddening. The scene is unrecognizable now. My town's student life. I live in a fairly small town where a huge part of the nightlife and general social stuff was tied to our local university, where I also studied and currently work in its student body. When COVID hit in full force, we switched to mostly online courses. As a result, a lot of students never bothered even moving here, obviously convenient. At the same time, they never started making the friendships and connections that are an integral part of the university experience. Their information networks are fractured. They barely even have study groups. Previous generations had no issues switching their study groups to online or even creating new ones, but these students barely know each other and barely even seem interested. Both the professors and TAs as well as the old guard student government have done what they or we could to try and encourage connections among students, but damn, it's taking a lot of time for this stuff to come back, and I know a couple local business owners that are dancing on the edge of bankruptcy because of this whole thing. Last week, it suddenly dawned on me 1 million people died during COVID in the US, and how huge that number is. And how chaotic those deaths must have felt to the loved ones. I actually think this is at least part of the reason there's so many grumbly old men and women. A lot of people aren't handling losing their spouse or parent well and will probably be kind of a dick for a couple years. Also, all the other horrible things that happened during the pandemic that totally f***ed up people's lives. I don't know very many people who have had a good or even okay last couple of years. Unfortunately, there are people who take this out on service workers. Sociability. I feel like many people, including myself, became stuck in a pattern of reclusiveness and can't get out. When the pandemic started, deep down, I f***ing loved it. I have major social anxiety and am not a morning person, so it was a dream not having to drag myself out of bed every morning, spend 50 minutes commuting to work, and deal with office small talk and presentations and such. To be clear, I don't ever want to deal with that bullshit again, but somewhere along the line I also lost any drive to be social at all, and basically I'm a hermit now. You can't expect what will happen to your brain when you're isolated, until it happens. I just have way too much time to swirl about worries that don't really matter. I've lost a lot of friends. Friends, thank you for watching. Please share your stories below in the comments and see you on the next videos. Have a good day.